Hello friends, in this video I'm going to be painting this Littlest Pet Shop LPS rabbit to be a pink pastel rainbow springtime cute little rabbit. First off, I'm going to remove all of the factory paint with 100% acetone and a cotton swab, or cotton ball rather. And then I'm going to go and block in completely, paint in the base, which I chose to be light pink in color. In this video, I left in all the footage of the layers that I did on her, which took quite a few, but it would take more to get this light of a color on a figure that was darker originally. So in reality, it didn't take quite as many as it could have. Here I'm masking off some areas that I don't want to have painted, because I decided to do a fade ombre gradient on the ears. I'm just masking off like her body and the parts of her face that I don't want to have the colorful paint get on. I want her face to be pink. I'm using the sponge method right here, which is just dabbing on the paint with a little cosmetic sponge works best. And you can of course fill in the color with the paintbrush wherever the fade isn't, like on the more solid parts of the color, but you can dab both the color and the base color until it gets a nice fade to it. In contrast to that, I painted the other ear with just the regular paintbrush, and it was taking a lot longer and it wasn't looking as good. I think maybe if I mixed the paints beforehand, it would have looked better, but I do like the way that the sponge fade transition gradient ombres look. They always turn out nicer. A little bit chunkier, but in comparison, I think it looks better. So now I'm going to start painting her hair. This green was a little bit too dark, so I mixed up a lighter green, and I wound up making that also a little bit ombre, from a light at the tip to a dark at the root of the little hair area. I'm painting the little fur around her neck to be yellow, nice light yellow, and her little tail to be orange. I go over the colors a couple times just to make sure that they're nice and opaque and none of the pink is coming through. Here I'm removing the masking tape so that I can get onto detailing her face, and here's what she looks like before everything, with just the pink and the rainbow. I'm going to be painting her eyes now and a few other little details on her. I'm using matte paint for her eyes. It's better for the eyes, whereas satin white paint is better for mixing. Matte's good because you can sand it. But I'm going in with a watered down version of the white, and I'm blocking in the eyes, and also wind up making her nose like a little white fade, and also all of her little feet. And again, that's something that you just go over as many times as you need to, and sand down if it comes out chunky or anything like that. The good thing about matte paint is that you can just sketch on it with a regular pencil. And here I'm sketching in where I want the eyes to be. I don't put any of the details in. I just want to make the eyes make sure that they're both looking in the same direction and are about the same size. I block it in with this light blue color. It was darker than what I was expecting it to be, so I'm gonna wind up going back and changing it. But for Littlest Pet Shops, if you're going with the classic look, they have like 2 rings around their pupil. The outer ring is like the darker version of the color, and then the inner ring is lighter, and then the pupil is black usually, and it kind of fades into the eyelash area. I thought that the black on this one looked really stark, and the eye color itself is really stark, so I go in and I change it to be lighter, and you'll see how that turns out. I was just not really happy with the way that these eyes were going. Even this, I think I went back and I made it like a lighter blue. And instead of a black pupil, I gave her a blue pupil and eyelash. And that really softens the way that your final product is going to look. Here I'm just touching up the paint and making sure everything's nice and crisp looking so that it doesn't look like a mess. So I'm pretty happy with all of the colors there. I'm just gonna add in those little catch lights to make her look nice and cute, and of course finish her off with some gloss, and this is how she turned out. I'm fairly happy with how she came out. I didn't really have a plan for how this one was going to go, so the pastel rainbow kind of just came as it was, but it turned out alright. I like how the eyes wound up at the end.